Chosen Vessels, what's the deal? It's your main man, Druuill, and you already know. I'm back at you again with another video. Let's get right into it. They think you've changed, but you just set boundaries for yourself, since their behavior towards you is still the same. You are a person who will choose to set boundaries over being around destructive, toxic people. When you are around those kinds of people, they don't make you feel so good. They don't make you feel right about yourself. They don't make you feel too positive, and they're extremely destructive to what it is you have going on for yourself. They will get in the way. Also, since they don't want to change their behavior towards you, they don't mind being toxic. They don't mind being destructive. They don't mind being a hater. You chose to set some boundaries. It's only so many times a person can be disrespectful before you finally pick up game and realize that this person is doing these things on purpose. You know, some people, they like to joke. Some people like to play around. And then there are some people who take things too far, try to act like they're not doing it, but they're doing it. And then you realize that, you know what, it's better off if I was to set some boundaries with this person. It's better off if I was to get away from this person and their shenanigans. And that's what setting boundaries is all about. But when you set those boundaries and you put yourself first and you care about yourself and you show people that that's what you do, when they treat you a way you don't want to be treated, they're going to start to catch an attitude, because they're going to pick up on you're doing what's best for you. Only someone who is trying to control you is going to be angry over you doing what's best for you. When you do what's best for you, they're going to start hating and being upset, because at that point, you're caring about them less and yourself more. And that's one thing that a person like this cannot stand. That someone that is upset that you're setting boundaries. They're upset you're setting boundaries because you're not going to allow them to control you anymore. That's what boundaries are for. Boundaries are positions of self-love that a person places themselves in, so that way others can't take advantage of them. Others can't just do them any kind of way. And when people realize that you've woken up to the fact that this person doesn't care about you, this person wanted to treat you any kind of way possible, this person wanted to do the most when it came to how they behave towards you. I mean, some people just don't care. Some people could care less about their behavior towards others, and those are the people that you have to set boundaries with, because if not, they're just going to keep being who they are, because they're going to think that that's okay. So when you set boundaries on people, then they realize through you telling them, or they realize through your distance, that I did something wrong. And you have to send that message to people, whether you tell them they did something wrong and you set your boundary and you make that something that they can't do, or you distance yourself from them and you just stop dealing with them completely. All right. But either way, if their behavior towards you does not change, if they want to keep the same behavior towards you, that person is letting you know right there that they don't care. People will try to put on a good act like they do care, but they truly don't. And when a person does something the first time, they act like they didn't do anything, and then they just keep doing it. That person is trying to take you for a fool. That person is trying to play with you and play with your head. That person is doing that person is being as disrespectful to you as they possibly can. People know that there are certain people that don't like certain things, and there are just people that don't care that you don't like this or that. And once they realize that you don't care, that you don't like that, and if it's something that they don't have a problem doing, they're going to keep doing it. You may have moral integrity, you may hold yourself to a higher standard, you may carry yourself a certain way, but there are people that don't care about that. There are people that will say you've changed because you're saving yourself. You're putting yourself first. You're caring about yourself more than you care about them. And that's what a person is supposed to do. A person is supposed to put themselves first and care about themselves more than anybody else. And whether you realize it or not, that's what people do. People care about themselves more than others, and they put themselves first. So you should do the same thing. And how you care about yourself more than others is by setting some boundaries. People think they could walk all over you if you do nothing. People will continue to walk all over you if you do nothing. You may be uncomfortable, but you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's a part of life. There are certain things that are going to make a person uncomfortable. There are certain things that may feel unnatural to you, but you've got to get a hang on it. And you have to be able to wrap your mind around being the type of person that can set boundaries, speak up for themselves, tell others what's on their mind, how they feel. Because once you do, then they're going to apply more pressure. So you have to realize that this is just a part of their game of manipulation, and they're trying to make you feel uncomfortable as they possibly can just to get you to fold and behave the way they want you to behave, which is like someone who is just going to accept the way that they behave. All right, they want to manipulate you to accepting their toxicity. They want to manipulate you into behaving in a way to where you just allow them to walk all over you and to trample you. But once you set those boundaries, that's when they're going to change into a worser person. You're going to see an attitude come out of them. You're going to see that demon in them start to come out. But this is how you know you're doing what's right for you. Don't be threatened. Don't be alarmed. Don't be scared. You have to do what's right for you. Even if it comes to cutting people off, even if it comes to telling people like it is, even if it comes to possibly being someone that you would normally be for a little while without getting yourself into any trouble. But some people, they just have to learn the hard way. And sometimes you have to be hard with people, not rude, not disrespectful, but sometimes you have to get rough with people. Sometimes you have to let people know that what they just did was wrong. What they did was something that you're not going to continue to take. What they did is something that you're not going to stand for. But once they start getting upset, once they start giving you an attitude, you know you're doing the right thing. So the more mad they get, that means the more good you're being to yourself. The more evil they start to become, that means the more righteous you're being to yourself. And you have to be a righteous person to yourself. That's why that person has issues with other people, because they're not being righteous to themselves. They don't like themselves. They don't love themselves. And they have hatred wrapped up within. Their hatred is consuming them to the point to where now they're spreading it. You're the type of person that feels good to the point to where all your good energy, you start to spread it. You spread your positive energy, you spread your light, you spread your joy, you spread your happiness. And there are people out there that do the opposite. They spread envy, jealousy, hate, negative energy, toxicity. There are people who willingly spread that each and every day. And when their behavior doesn't change, once you realize that that's who they are, then you have to do what's best for you. And what you'll find is, just like you care about being a good person, they actually try to hide it, but they enjoy being a horrible person, and they take pride in that. They take pride in being the worst kind of person that they could be. They hang out with each other and talk about what kind of person that they are to other people, how wrong they do other people, how horrible they are to other people. And if you know them, they're probably most likely even doing this about you. So that's why boundaries are a healthy thing. If someone is taking too much time from you, you have to limit that amount of time. If someone is doing something that you don't like, something that's bothering you, you have to confront them about it. You have to let them know that this isn't going to take place. You live in an apartment complex, people are being noisy outside your area. If you're trying to study or sleep or work on something or just have some peace of mind, you may have to address them. But whatever you do, you're going to have to set some boundaries. If people are doing things that you don't like, all right, no matter what the situation, I'm just speaking from a couple situations that I had to deal with. Everyone's situation is different, but it's the same thing pretty much. People will do things to try to bother you, get on your nerves, and you have to set boundaries with them. There are going to be people who are trying to affect you negatively on purpose and then smile in your face and act like they're not doing it. You can set boundaries with people by ignoring them. You can set boundaries with people by straight up addressing them and addressing the situation. And you can set boundaries with people by avoiding them. Some people are best to be avoided if you've already confronted the situation, you've already talked to them about it, you already talked to other people about it. Sometimes you're going to see that no one cares. And as upsetting and frustrating as that may be, you know, when it's a job, you could go to HR. When it's a place that you live, you might be able to go to the apartment manager or whoever. But in some cases, if people were living there before you and you just got there, or if it's a particular case where it may not be nobody there that likes you. It may not be no one there that is feeling you too well. They may have a problem with you, period, just for staying there. All right, you may not have done anything to anyone. You may not have done anything wrong to anyone, but just by them looking at you, just by you not choosing to associate with them, they may not like you. When you can read people and tell that you're supposed to set boundaries with them, if they're narcissistic people, they're not going to like that. Someone may have a habit, someone may do something, someone may have an attitude, and you choose to set boundaries with them. If they're a normal minded person, they're going to just leave you alone. Like, okay, I'm just not their cup of tea. And they're just going to leave you alone. They're not going to be bothering you. They're not going to continue to have the same behavior towards you. They're not going to have any behavior towards you. But then you have people who see that you choose to disassociate yourself with them, and then they want to bring their toxic ways right to your front doorstep. They want to bring it right to you. And those are the kinds of people, the quote unquote narcs, that you have to deal with face to face, because they want some confrontation, they want some attention, and you have to set boundaries with them. You have to let them know that I'm not dealing with you. I don't want anything to do with you. You need to keep your distance from me. I'll keep my distance from you. You have to let people know sometimes. Sometimes we think that just avoiding people, not saying anything, just staying away from them, we think that's enough. We think that everyone uses common sense, and we think that people tend to be like ourselves. If I stay away from them, they'll stay away from me. There are some people like that, but unfortunately in life, there are people who are the total opposite. They'll see you're trying to stay away from them, and they'll take that as a sign of weakness. They'll think they're stronger than you because of that. They'll think they have some type of power over you because of that. Or they'll be able to see that you don't like them, and they'll take that out on you. All right. Like that's some of the most annoying junk to have to deal with. And this is why setting boundaries is important. This is why speaking up to people is important. Like if people don't know that you don't like them, then they may not possibly know to stay away from you. Sometimes we want to be quiet, we want to be silent to avoid problems and to not get into any to not have any issues or to get into any confrontation or quarrels with anyone. We like to be peaceful. We like our peace. We like to not get into any trouble. But sometimes you have like you may think that it's going to cause trouble, but it may not. Don't think that just because you have to handle a situation is going to result in trouble. Not every situation that you go to handle is going to result in something negative. You just have to make sure that you handle it in a respectable manner to where you don't react. Sometimes when people do things that get on our nerves, we react, we're angry, we're upset, and we go about handling the situation in a way to where, it's not that positive. All right, but you don't have to get like that. You can handle the situation in a way to where it's not going to get you involved in any trouble, all right, because that's the last thing you want. Um, People will point the finger at you if you're new at places and people have problems with you. Maybe you just got there. They're jealous of you. They have something wrong with you. Best thing you should do is just get in and get out, because when you go to places and you're new and people have a problem with you, they'll do smear campaigns on you. They'll click up, have cults against you just to try to get you out of a place. So it's best to focus on yourself when you're in places where you can feel that people don't like you or people don't mess with you like that, or people are just going to have some type of bad behavior towards you. You try to speak to people, try to say hello to people or talk to them. They look at you weird, give you attitude. That's a sign right there not to deal with people. All right, sometimes you think like people are just having a bad day, but no, they just might have an issue with you, or they just may have an issue with life. Either way, don't take it personal. The best thing you could do is stay away from people who are toxic, people who are negative, people who got awful attitudes. All right. Set boundaries with them by staying away from them. Set boundaries with them by, telling them. You may have to if you could tell that a person is a certain way and you don't like that person and that person knows you don't like them and you see this person purposely seeking you out, you're going to have to address that. And you're going to have to tell that person like, yo, look, dude, I see you seeking me out. I don't know what your problem is. You're not my kind of people or whatever. I have no problem with you. I mean, I wouldn't even take it that far. I'd just be like, yo, dude, look, I see what you're doing. I'm choosing to just be peaceful. I just want to stay to myself. Just do me a favor, leave me alone, stay out my way. I'll stay out your way. We two grown men. You stay out my way. I'll stay out your way. We don't have no problems. And just like sometimes you may have to address situations like that. Sometimes you think God is going to handle the situation. He's waiting for you to handle it. You think God's going to take care of it. Sometimes it's a situation where you're supposed to take care of it. All right. Don't ever be afraid to like speak up or talk to someone or handle a situation. uh they're like the people who you may have an issue with or may have a problem with you are regular everyday people just like yourself. All right, they may just be annoying, they may be different than you, they may not be where you're from or whatever the differences is. Don't allow that to deter you from being able to do what you need to do so you can live your life. Speak up for yourself, stand up for yourself. um People's behavior is going to be what they want it to be, and some people unfortunately choose to make their behavior less than tolerable. All right, some people choose to make their behavior less than tolerable on purpose. They want to be annoying on purpose, they want to be hard-headed on purpose, they want to be difficult on purpose. Some people don't care if you like them or not. If someone sees that you don't like them, that what I'm figuring out is they'll give you a reason to not like them. It's like, oh, okay, you're going to purposely stay away from me and avoid me. Well, I'm going to bring this ignorance to your front doorstep, and I'm going to make it hard for you to distance yourself from me and disassociate from me. These are the people that I had most problems with in the past. These are the people who would get on my nerves, who I would let get on my nerves, people who I would let bother me, people who I would let stress me out. I let a lot of these people get on my nerves and stress me out when I did not have to. All I had to do was set boundaries with them, speak up to them, step to them like you're supposed to. People are doing things, people are getting on your nerves. I was just worried about like I have a bad attitude, and I was just worried about not trying to, not trying to start anything, not trying to get into any trouble. People could call it what they want, but I think, and I was just using my head, making sure I didn't end up behind bars or in the back of a police car. So I don't fault myself for that. But now, when you learn how to calm down, you learn how to use your mind, you learn some other things in life. You learn how to handle certain situations. All right, then things get better for you, and that's what life is all about, learning how to figure out things, handle things, so that way you could get the make the best decision, make the best choices, and have the best results. So it is what it is. I don't fault myself for it. Everyone is different, everyone learns how to handle things differently. But as far as people and their behavior, a lot of things you will have to accept because people just don't want to change, and it's not worth getting into anything over. Somebody wants to be a knucklehead. As long as it's not bothering you, I would just let it go. It may be annoying to be around it. It may be annoying to see it. It may be annoying to live around it, live near it, work around it. But if it's not directly bothering you, cool. But as soon as it is directly bothering you, you're going to have to set some boundaries, speak up for yourself, tell people to take it somewhere else, ask people to chill out, ask people to calm down, ask people to relax, like, yo, how would you feel if I was doing that to you, kind of thing? Or would you like me doing that outside your place? Or would you like it if I did that or was being disruptful or being disrespectful to you? Some people are cool. And, even as weird as it is, some people, some people just want you to acknowledge them. It's weird and it's annoying, but some of these people, they got spirits on them and stuff, and they really just want your acknowledgement. So once you reach a real high spiritual level, you'll just be able to ignore it because you could be like, okay, it's just a spirit on them that wants attention. But sometimes people may want to address the situation. People may want to go handle it themselves. So just make the best decision, just make a wise choice. Don't get yourself involved in anything that you don't want to be involved in. Don't make any choices that you can't rewind the clock on, and just learn that you can set boundaries. All right, there's something that you can do. You don't have to sit there and be a victim. You don't have to sit there and be helpless. You don't have to sit there and take people's bad behavior, people's attitudes. Somebody got an attitude with you, you could tell them to not have an attitude towards you. You could tell them to take that attitude somewhere else. All right, you don't have to take people's attitude. You don't have to take people's rude behavior. You don't have to take that type of stuff. Sometimes people think they can, talk to you a certain way, treat you a certain way. You have to handle that. All right, even if you're not the best person at handling those types of situations, people will respect you if you take care of it. All right, even if you don't feel you handled it the best way, or you may not feel you handled it a good way, all you have to do is speak up for yourself and let your voice be heard and handle the situation the best way you can. All right. That's pretty much all I have to say. People will be who they're going to be. If their behavior towards you is still the same, set some boundaries. If you see the person's not willing to change, set some boundaries. If you see the person wants to continue to act and behave the way that they are and don't think they need to change for you, don't think that what they're doing is affecting you any kind of way, or maybe they just don't care. Maybe they are more than aware of what they're doing and they could care less how it affects you. So if that's the case, then still you could set boundaries. You could tell people that you don't mess with them. You could tell people to get out your face. You could tell people to leave you alone. You could tell people to take whatever they're doing somewhere else. All right. You don't have to be voiceless in these types of situations. You have to find ways to be comfortable with getting uncomfortable and handle situations the best way you can. All right. And sometimes people think of the worst, and that's why they may not want to handle situations. You may think of the worst just because you're about to go handle something. You may think of the worst just because you're about to go ask somebody something. Don't feel fear. Don't feel afraid. All right. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. You have to do what's best for you. You have to stand up for yourself, speak up for yourself, and you have to not be afraid to handle situations. Some people, they have bad anxiety. Some people, don't deal with things from the point of, some people don't deal with things from a mindset that would best suit them. And some people need to learn how to do that. Some people struggle with that, but now Once you realize what it is, it's just anxiety, it's just fear, it's just certain ways you feel when you're doing certain things. And once you control your energy, once you control your thoughts, what you're thinking, what you're telling yourself, how you approach the situation, how you prep your mind to handle the situation. All right, you could even like people who have problems dealing with confrontation or handling situations, see yourself dealing with the situation beforehand. You could go into your mind, see yourself talking to the person, see how it's going to turn out. All right, see yourself being as brave as you need to be, or as on point as you need to be. See yourself not being scared or whatever. All right. So I mean, it is what it is. The mind is a powerful thing. We don't have to be victims. We don't have to take people's mess. We don't have to be subject to somebody else's bad attitude. A lot of people think it's okay to have a bad attitude towards chill, peaceful people because they see how we handle situations and how we move through life, and they think they could, take advantage on someone that acts like that, and that's not the case. All right. If it is the case, if you've been letting things slide, if you've been letting things happen, don't let those things slide anymore. Don't let those things happen anymore. All right. You are God in your life when it comes to dealing with people, when it comes to dealing with situations. Yes, we can pray to the Almighty God. I didn't say you are Almighty God. I said that you are God in your life. All right. You are the creator in your life. So you go through life creating. When you don't speak up, when you let people walk all over you, that's the version of yourself you believe in. And that's the life for yourself that you're creating. So what you need to do is believe in yourself as a person that can deal with confrontation, stand up for themselves, speak to people who got bad attitudes. It's just a person with a bad attitude. You're not going to die because you speak to someone with a bad attitude. All right. Some people just, are have a lot going on in their mind due to their past and how they were presented with certain problems with life early on. Some people have some things they haven't dealt with that they need to deal with and correct and fix. So that way, how they handle confrontation, how they deal with people, how they deal with toxic people, toxic situations, they'll be able to come out on top. And that's what it's all about. All right, accepting where you're at so you could make a change and come out on top and be better than you currently are or what you were. All right, so that's pretty much it for this video. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Hit the like button, hit the share button. I got more videos coming. Anybody wants me to speak on any topics, put it in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one. It's been another Druuill special. Shout out to the chosen vessels. Peace, love, and light. We're out. One.